Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the next short story in the Pawns of Chaos collection for you folks. It's 15 pages long. It's called Halfway House, and it was written by Peter Crowther. Peter is an editor for a couple of magazines and so forth, and has published this thing. This is a science fiction, not fantasy, in this big giant collection for you folks. This collection was published in 1996, and all these short stories, including one by Michael Moorcock, who created it and was the main contributor to it, also wrote a short story for it too called Sir Milk and Blood to get us started off with you folks. So basically what's happening with this collection and so forth. I picked this up back when I was in college, when I was in freshman in 1996 roughly, when it was printed, and I was doing a deep dive into Moorcock stuff, but I never got a chance to read it because in a couple of years later, I was turning to H.P. Lovecraft and doing a deep dive into his stuff and the Cthulhu mythos that he created, some other stuff like that. He became my favorite author, right? And so just never had, and since this stuff wasn't written by Moorcock, the guy who created it, except for the first short story, so I just never read it. And then when I went back and read this stuff for the channel just now, all these novels and so forth, I figured I'd go ahead and knock out this collection as a sort of a denouement to finish it, since I'd never read it before and such. Again, the idea here is to see what other people can do with other voices and so forth. So this one is a 15-page short story. Again, it's a science fiction, not fantasy, like Elric and Stormbringer and stuff like that are very, very common and so forth. But it's instead, the character here is Carl Glauergauer, who is a sci-fi guy. So you know immediately, if you've read this stuff, that this is going to be a science fiction one for you folks. This is Carl for you folks. And Carl is an Eternal Champion. I think he's got just one novel that I read a while ago. I don't think I've reread it recently for you folks when I went back and read all of his stuff. But he's somebody who has a novel, if I recall correctly, but just one for folks. So he's not a bigger name. So I like that there's a different opportunity on that. I do like that and so forth. So basically the structure of this, and again, no spoilers, but we're going to find out on the first page of this 15-page collection. It took me about a half an hour last night for me to read it, since this is an oversized collection, which I'll link to you in the comments below in case you're interested in following along. But basically what's happening is that we'll get a fast, maybe a page long, maybe a page and a half, maybe just half a page of his current situation, and then a flashback to his youth and such, and then the flashback will keep continuing to grow up. And so his first flashback is going to be very, very young, right, and so forth. And then another flashbacks will continue. And the flashbacks might take a page, might only be a half a page, might be a page and a half roughly, but they'll all be these quick sort of future stuff, current stuff, back stuff, futures, current stuff, back stuff, current stuff, back stuff like that. That's sort of the story structure, if you will. And we're going to find out in the first couple of pages that he has become an astronaut, and he has for NASA, and he has there's a space expedition and so forth that he was a part of, and he's gone missing. And so now we'll be following along with what's happening, right? So that's again the sort of the framework. Again, no spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you anything other than the first couple of pages to get your feet wet and the structure of it and so forth. I thought it was nice. I'm glad I read it, but I don't think it had anything particularly interesting to say about Carl, or have any new things like Acorns did, which was a coming of age short story for Dorian Hawkmoon earlier in this collection as a counterpoint, right? It doesn't have anything to say. It doesn't have any new things to show or any news stories to tell, right, about Carl and so forth. It doesn't end in a particularly exciting or new or tricky way, right? It doesn't have anything to say about the characters or about the Eternal Champion series writ large, or about stuff for us to take away, right? It's just a 15-page short story, right? It's interesting. I'm glad I read it, but it doesn't have a lot to really sort of recommend it. And just a day after reading it, it's not that deep into my mind either, right? I'm not running around saying, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing," right? Or that was horrible. It just was, right? So there you are. So I'm probably going to be giving this like a 5 out of 10 in the middle, right? For you folks, and that's Halfway House. And my thoughts thereof. As a reminder, this collection in this series with the Eternal Champion is where the multiversal threats got started, and even the term multiverse got started from like a Moorcock spin and mind. And this is a multiversal champion, and the Eternal Champion is basically an aspect of each character that appears on every different plane of existence in different aspects, like an avatar, if you will, and with different aspects, different characters and so forth. He has one big love, one big companion, and so forth, and he's fighting the good fight in law versus chaos rather than good versus evil. That's one of the sort of the key influences in it too. This is heavily influential from Elric and more. So there you are. That is Halfway House for you folks. I'm bringing a 5 out of 10 for you folks. So let me know what you thought about it in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my 5 out of 10 for you folks. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more to follow. And if you're feeling frisky, hit the bell icon too to let me know when I post my 3 videos each week. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.